Someone is thinking about Dirty Bird gumbo. Another is thinking about Crow Po' Boy with the extra hot sauce. Whatever. It's all in an attempt for the same goal, right? Beating them Falcons. Can the Saints do it? Well, we'll get a fresh perspective from the Athletics. Larry Holder, as we do every Friday, and we'll go through the best games of Week 4 in the NFL, because last night sure wasn't it. And it's all coming up next on the Dattitude podcast.
If you're looking for the latest scoop and in-depth interviews on the Saints, the NFL, the Pelicans, LSU, along with the best bets of the week, then lucky you. Along with high-powered, in-the-know guests who cover our teams, Jim Derry brings plenty of Dattitude. And he'll always tell you the way it is, or at least the way he thinks it is.
Where are you at, New Orleans? And hello to my friends elsewhere, everywhere out there who are ready for the fastest Dattitude of the year. I don't know what's going on. I thought I was over it, and then it came back yesterday and hit me in the face. So here I am. I mean, we're not going anywhere. We're going to do the show, and we're not going to leave you hanging on, especially in Dirty Bird week. You crazy? Can't do that. This is Dattitude, episode number 286. Presented by Evangel Securities for a Friday, September the 27th, 2024. I am your differently sounding host, Jim Derry. And whether you're watching on one of my NOLA.com social media channels or listening to the pod on demand after the fact, as always, we thank you for being a part of the Dattitude family. Yeah, thanks, you, BN. Sound awesome. I feel awesome, man. It's like it's wonderful. Feel great. Good morning, T-Mama. Big Sean says he hopes Saints prove him wrong. Keeping it positive, brother. Staying safe. We ain't got nothing. Man, it's beautiful here. It's not like it is in Atlanta. Man, Atlanta got a little bit of I told you yesterday. Man, I was feeling for our friends in Atlanta. It's something to think about. No joke. If you watch the news this morning, I mean, I got family around the Big Bend area of Florida. They're having some issues. It's a rough morning for sure. Atlanta's got it bad too. Tampa's got it bad. Carolina's about to have it bad. I mean, we're the only ones that have it good right now. Oh, there's a little thumbs up thing again. Came out of nowhere like that. As you see, you can be a part of the show by typing in your comment on YouTube, Facebook, or X. And we ask if you haven't already done so to subscribe to our YouTube page, ever-growing YouTube page. You always know when we're going on the air live Monday through Friday, except for Tuesday at 11 a.m. Central Time. You can always watch it on demand if you want. Give us a little like. If you're watching on YouTube right now, just hit the little like button, just for the hell of it. Even if you don't like it anyway. You'll have access to our shows and short takes. All right, you can get in touch with me, email jderry@theadvocate.com, on X at jderry, at Jim Derry Jr. I can't even remember my own damn X page. JJ, the Saints are definitely better than either of those garbage teams that played last night. Well, they already beat the hell out of one of them. Man, what's wrong with the Cowboys? I'm not, I know they won. They're terrible. You know what else is terrible? But we're going to give them some love this morning. The Oakland Athletics. The Oakland Athletics played their final game at the Coliseum yesterday, and I meant to put a clip in here, and Gabe is going to come on and talk about it. But he's still going to come on and talk about it. But it is kind of sad they played that last game at the Coliseum. I mean, all the history of the Oakland Athletics going back, and I know it goes back beyond when I can remember, but, Reggie Jackson, Vida Blue, Catfish Hunter, all the day back in the day. And now what? They're going to explode. They're going to bomb the place. It's going to be gone. Oh, let's get Gabe's perspective on this. Help me out here. I mean, it is kind of sad. If you're a baseball fan, even if you're not a baseball fan, if you remember the old Oakland Raiders playing back in the Coliseum in the day, playing when the baseball field was kind of taking everything over in the first 6-8 weeks of the year, and it's going to be sad that it's gone.
Yeah, I mean, the way I put it, I've got a quote here, a little post by Chris L. Hayes on Twitter or X. And I think he summed it up perfectly. He said, "It's weird to me that I find this as emotional as I do. I'm not from Oakland at all. Teams move, but man, it just feels like the fans in the city were done so dirty and that so much amazing history is being thrown in the trash." And I don't think you can put it any better than that, As regular listeners know, I'm from Houston, born and raised, been here 26 years. I wasn't here when I was an infant around when the whole Oilers
God, I'm old.
debacle came. I was 3 or 4 years old.
Oilers Jets playoff game in the Astrodome. That's how old I am.
I love the Astrodome. I'm weird. I have a thing for crap old stadiums. That's why I think I'm kind of partial to Coliseum. But I've been off all week, so one of the things that I made sure to carve out time for yesterday was sit down and watch that final game, the A's and the Rangers at the Coliseum. Everyone knows the famous quote, "There's no crying in baseball." But, Oakland fans, you get a pass today.
I like it.
It's a city that, over the last few years, has had every team ripped from them. The Golden State Warriors moved across the bay to a nicer stadium. They moved from Oracle to whatever their new arena is called. The Raiders left. They're now in Vegas.
All right, but let me ask though.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to put it this way, but it's really the only way I can think of putting it. Is it because Oakland's a shithole?
Oakland's actually becoming a lot nicer.
Okay. All right. It's somebody out there
really
from
is.
Oakland's going to watch me and send me hate mail, but I'm just asking the question. I haven't been. I've been to San Francisco. I have not been to Oakland.
The Bay Area is a top 10 market. I believe it's the 6th biggest television market. And as the fans showed, the fans sold out the stadium yesterday. And it's not like they weren't showing up because the team was bad. They weren't showing up to prove a point to this terrible owner. But once again, this is the 3rd professional team that city's lost. Yeah, we've heard special stories over the last few months from all of those fans. And, just put yourself in their shoes for a second. At the root of it.
Yeah, but then I would have to live in Oakland. Sorry. Big Sean says, by the way, he lives in Houston. He can't stand the Astros. Go Dodgers. I know you're not on board with that.
That's okay. I'm sure he enjoyed 2017 a lot.
Ooh, that was rough. He also asked, Sunday's game may be relocating. Do I think Sunday's game's going to relocate? No, I think they'll get it together by then. Who dat, William? I think they'll get it together by then. So, no, I don't think it'll relocate. But I do think there's a lot of people in Atlanta that are going to have some issues. So,
yeah, but just to go back to the A's, at the root of it, sports are. Yeah, I see his comment. So did the Dodgers. So it's okay. The Dodgers were also cheating. It was proven by the Rockies, but it's okay. We just cheated.
You're not cheating. You're not trying.
And we won Game 7 in LA. So
Jeff Haspel says he's been to games in Oakland. They had some really unique fans. It was fun to go to games there.
Yeah,
I've never been to Oakland.
At the root of it, sports are, a temporary escape for a lot of people. And you heard so many special stories out from Oakland of people who grew up in the Coliseum and people who, created special bonds with their family. And It really sucks. And you're ripping it away from them for what? To fill your stadium with tourists? And not even fill your stadium. I can almost guarantee you they will not have that many people go to their games regularly in Las Vegas if they ever play there. Right now, they're set to play, 3 seasons in Sacramento at a minor league park?
They'll get about the same amount of fans they got in the Oakland Alameda Coliseum.
Yeah, at the end of the day, this is a tremendous failure by Major League Baseball. Rob Manfred, I'm looking at you. He might be the worst commissioner in all of professional sports. No. He's horrible.
He's not as bad as the guy that preceded him.
From an Astros fan and just from a baseball fan in general, I think no matter what team you root for, I think Big Sean can agree as a Dodgers fan. You can agree as a Cubs fan, and everyone else can agree. Screw John Fisher. Who does this guy really think he is? Do you really need more money? Or will you really get more money from this? You inherited all of it.
You and I are going to disagree on this, my friend, because I think as much as I hate to say it, because it could happen to the Saints one day, if you own a franchise, you ought to be able to do whatever the hell you want with it.
You
It's my
should.
opinion.
I agree, but
I hope it
nobody
doesn't.
else
I hope it
wants
doesn't bite me
this.
in the ass if Gail says, or whoever Gail leaves the team to decides to move him one day, because it could happen. But
Here's the thing, though, is he didn't do anything to deserve that power. He
yeah, I guess.
inherited all of his money. He's not done
Well,
anything other than not spend
as have
money
most
to
of the people
increase
with a
the
lot of
team.
money.
Yeah, but not all of them are greedy assholes like John Fisher is. Some of them at least service what the fans want. He's the only individual, along with maybe Rob Manfred, that wants this move.
All right, well,
And it sucks.
Save the rest of your ire. You'll be back on Monday. Mondays
Yep.
with Gabe is back on Monday. And if you want to go on about this, we'll do it. But we gotta.
We'll see if I have anything new to say.
We gotta talk Saints. We gotta talk Saints here. So we'll talk to you soon. Enjoy the rest of your vacation weekend. It's back to normal on Monday. We hope.
Thank you. Can't wait.
All right, Gabe Henderson, everybody. He's good for a rant every now and then. I gotta give it to him. Even if I don't agree with him, I like to wind him up and let him go a little bit. It's kind of fun. All right. Before we get to Larry, he's in the green room. We are ready to go. Let me tell you real quick about our friends. You know, I'm at Evangel Securities. You know what I'm talking about. You're trying to decide if it's the right time to sell your family run or privately held business. You need to first find out what it is worth. That's where Evangeline comes in. Managing partners Nick Braden and Ron Hemelt will maximize the value for your business by scheduling a complimentary valuation, and then they can help you decide if it's the right time to proceed. I'll tell you more about it later in the show. In the meantime, you can check them out at www.evangelinsecurities.com. All right, it's time to talk nothing but Saints the rest of the show. Well, we'll have some NFL talk as well. But you know what I mean. It's time to get to the man, the myth. Well, it's not a myth. He's here. He's trying to make charge for maybe what would be the greatest comeback in the history of the Billy Rainey League. He's making a charge. He's been in second for the last 4 weeks, and he's so close to first place. Can he get there? Larry,
I don't know. I didn't expect to be anywhere near that when we made our trade deadline a few weeks ago. But yeah, look, it's some guys decided to come back to life. Some guys for our good friend Pepper maybe have faded. So I will.
Look, even though I'm
it.
in second to last, you're like my best bud right now. You're gonna have to pay some of my fee if you end up winning, because I'm literally 1/100th of a point behind him in the ERA, and I'm tied with him in wins, and I'm 2/100ths of a point behind him in ratio. And you're what, 1.5 behind him?
I need you to make up some ground in the last week.
We're trying.
Change. Let's do it. Let's do it for sure.
John Pace, who dat, baby? Dylan Smith says, good morning, who dat nation. And then I sound horrible. Well, thank you for that. I feel as horrible as I sound. So there you go. It is what it is. So we're going to try to make this the quickest Dattitude in the history of Dattitudes. I don't know what that number is, but we're going to work on it. All right, Larry Holder, let's talk about these Saints. And I got to jump right into it. You know, you're without Eric McCoy. I've been preaching all week about how big of a deal it is. And I think, to me, it's kind of the backbreaker. You're talking about two teams that are very similar, I think, and they were very close in talent already. And I think this really hurts them. I'm not going to give a spoiler alert, my pick away just yet, although I've given it away twice. But tell me what you think with Eric McCoy being out, how much that hurts this team.
Obviously, it hurt them tremendously last week. But, and this is where I'm going to give some faith here, you can overcome this.
I knew you would.
If you're planning for it. Midstream, you're toast. That was not going to happen. And the Saints were lucky to even be in the game last week. I mean, I'm sure you've talked about it all week. Eagles gave them enough chances to be in the game because they made boneheaded moves by your best friend, Nick Sirianni. I know how much you love.
He's my favorite.
His coaching decisions, and many of them almost bit them and probably should have, but the Saints couldn't capitalize. But look, you look on the other side of the field, Atlanta's going to be without their center. Now, he's not their best offensive lineman, but still, you were having making changes with the guy you depend on making the calls and look, center quarterback exchange. I mean, that's a thing. One screw up could be a game changer. And it doesn't matter. You could be about to punch it in. You fumble the ball at the 1, and you know it could be a 14-point swing. So obviously losing McCoy though, and you're not going to be without him just for this week. I mean, you're going to be without him for at least the next month and a half, and that's going to be a big issue. And that's really the one guy you really couldn't afford to lose, because there's. You talk about it, and we've been harping on tackle for forever, but he's your rock, and now that you don't have him, I mean that's going to be an issue. Plus, on top of that, the Falcons, their most effective pass rusher so far this year has been Grady Jarrett. I mean, they haven't had him for the last while. Last year, injured. Now he's back, and
Great.
So they at least have an inside-outside duo now. It used to be just Grady Jarrett. Now you have Matthew Judon. So certainly something that the Saints are going to have to prepare for. And at least we've seen, look, Clint Kubiak can scheme. Give him a week. Maybe he can scheme around this.
Well, he can look like a sheer genius this week if he can figure out how to do it without not only Eric McCoy, but there's a chance that Cesar Ruiz doesn't play either. So there you go. Black Preacher Man, salute. I still believe Homer. You're a homer for life. Saints 27, Atlanta 13. I love it. Hey, I'm glad you have positivity. Gabe says the Saints have won 5 of the last 6 in Atlanta. That doesn't do me much today. I'm just saying, Big Sean could have blown the Eagles out too, but we know what happened. I don't know that they could have blown the Eagles out. I mean, if you look at the stats, they got their ass.
They wouldn't have blown them out. No.
Yeah. I mean,
the Eagles are still a good team. Like let's not kid ourselves.
They just got a bad coach. Yeah, it's got a bad coach. Oh, they're definitely going to make the playoffs. They're going to win that division. Yeah. Well, look, I just look. You're right about the chance that Kubiak has his chance to look like an absolute just stud. I mean, if you can plan around this offensive line, especially if Ruiz is out too, and you got Lemieux called up off the practice squad, he might have to play. Who the hell knows, man? It's crazy. All right. I do want to ask you, beyond the injuries, if you just look at the game plan, to me, it looks like if Atlanta's going to steal off of Philly's paper, and I think that they will. I mean, this seems like a Bijan and Pitts kind of game. Bijan versus Kamara. Let's see who's got it, because the Saints weren't able to stop Saquon Barkley last week. They weren't able to stop Dallas Goedert, and so here come Bijan, here comes Kyle Pitts, and I think that's what you're going to see a lot of on Sunday.
And Atlanta's offense is really still a work in progress.
Yep.
Look, Kirk Cousins, he's in game 4 with a totally new group of players, and he's seemingly more comfortable in the pocket than he was, say, week 1, coming off the Achilles. But every game should be Bijan and Pitts. Like, that's what you should be waiting for. And right. Drake London, he could be, say, option 2A, and then Darnell Mooney is going to be your deep shot guy. And so that's the thing. This is not the same Falcons teams that we've seen in the past, because the quarterback plays better. Even if it's just middle of the road, it's better than what we've seen in the last few years. So, and going back to the end of Matt Ryan, I mean, he was descending for a while, and the Saints were able to take advantage of that. And then you're facing Desmond Ridder and Taylor Heineke, and look, this is certainly a more viable Falcons team. But look, you look at last week, and you feed Saquon enough, and the Saints broke, and they're going to try to feed Bijan.
Well,
enough.
You would think, but they still find a way. Sometimes you would think they would have done it already, though. The one thing I don't get about them, I mean, I understand last year they had a horrendous coaching staff. Maybe this one's not that much better, but they haven't used him nearly as much going into this year as I thought they would.
Yeah, but it's also how often do you really want to use him? Do you want to overuse him? That's the thing.
That's true.
We've seen just here in New Orleans the overusage of Kamara, because that was really all they had. Like, I feel like Atlanta, he's not all they have.
Right.
Now he's the star. He's the top name, whether it's wide receiver, tight end, running back, quarterback. I mean, Bijan is the top name.
Right.
But it's different. They can at least say, all right, look, we could use Drake London. We could use Mooney. We can use Pitts. So there's some viable pieces there. And so that's the thing. Like, you don't want to give Bijan 35 touches. You probably want to give him 25.
Yeah.
But that's, I mean, it's kind of pick your poison. I mean, how effective can he be really as a receiver? He's not Kamara good as a receiver, but he's probably better. And say, if you're going to go north-south running, you're going to take Bijan.
A-Town, good morning. I sound like poo.
Poop emoji. At least you have a smile, like the poop emoji.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Just put some tussin on it. I'm trying. I put like everything under the sun on it. Tussin, Dayquil, nose spray, whatever you want. They ain't helping any. I'm trying. Nick UBN is here. He says, Kamara banged up. Hill's not out. I think Taysom's going to play. McCoy out. Got to be a problem. I mean, it is a problem if those guys don't play, but I think you see plenty of Kamara, and I think Taysom Hill will be back this week.
I expect Kamara to play. You know what you have. There's no point in I know he's been getting the ball a lot, banged up, physical game. I'd say go sit on the sideline the entire week of practice. You know the playbook. Like, we need you to be fresh. Go sit in a hyperbaric chamber. Go sit in a hot tub. Whatever treatment you need, do it. Come out, play Sunday.
All right, I pumped myself up as much as I can. I think I got about 10 minutes left. So let's move on. We're going to save our Saints pick for last, okay? I mean, the last thing we do is our Saints pick. Most of you know what I picked already. I really don't know what Larry's going to pick, so we're going to wait to the end. But I do want to talk real quick about the best of week 4 in the NFL. And I changed some things up on the right. You can see if you're watching live or watching after the fact, you can see that I put the last 5 Saints games in there against the Falcons. They've won 4 out of the last 5. It's actually more than that, but that's what I can fit on the screen. I also got their current odds in there from DraftKings. They are up to 10 wins. 10.
That was always our ceiling, Jim. That was always our ceiling.
It's still my ceiling, my friend.
It's definitely still my ceiling. Yes.
So
changing.
We'll get to this side of the screen in just a minute. But all right. So my 3 best games of this week, besides Saints Falcons, which is the one that everyone here is interested in. Vikings at Green Bay. Starting to look like Bryce Young's going to play, Larry. He's been practicing.
I mean, Jordan Love. Bryce Young is not.
What did I
playing.
say? Oh, sorry. Good Lord, dude. It only do with Larry. I have one colossal screw up like once every week with Larry. This week I'm calling Jordan Love Bryce Young. But Jordan Love has been Bryce Young's probably been practicing too, but that's about all he's doing. Jordan Love has been practicing for about a week and a half. Looks like he's ready to go against the Vikings. Sam Darnold has been not Sam Darnold. He's been pretty damn good. They're 3-0. Are you surprised that the Vikings are getting 3 points here?
I am. Just because there's still some unrest about Love, and he's got to come back, and how comfortable does he actually feel with the knee? And it's not like they had one good game, but still they lost with him. So I mean, but still, I'll just tell you this: I picked Green Bay straight up. I think that Green Bay. I mean, you go back to our picks for the Super Bowl. And pick the Packers to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, changing it now.
Yeah, I'm not changing it now. I still think that they're capable of doing that. And so I think Sam Darnold can certainly be had. I don't think he'll revert back to say Josh Dobbs. Right. That was like a 2-week Cinderella story, and that glass slipper shattered. And so I think Darnold can still be effective, but he's banged up too.
I think he's going to turn into.
Yeah, it's going to come down to defense. Like, Minnesota's defense has been playing lights out, and I don't know if they have the personnel to keep that up, but they've been incredible so far. And Green Bay's defense has been good, but it's funny. They sacked Will Levis 8 times last week, but they only have one player on their team.
Will Levis is terrible.
Yeah, you want to talk about the next quarterback that's going to be benched in that draft class? Mason Rudolph is probably 2 games away from playing. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt about that. But but look, it's funny, but no, the Packers only have one player that has a pass pressure percentage higher than 10%, and it's not Rashawn Gary either. So it's I think Green Bay's still trying to find their way, but at home, Darnold's banged up. Like I think Green Bay's going to win this game.
I'm with you. I think Green Bay's going to win. I think they're going to cover. And Taylor, I hear you. Brian Flores is going to get after a hobbled Jordan Love. I don't think they would play him if he was like truly hobbled. We'll see. After what they did mess up the Texans, but somebody was giving me a stat that teams that are teams that are 3-0 after predicted. I don't know whatever it was. It was a stat. I can't remember crap right now. I'm sorry, guys. I'm messing everything up. But there's a stat that goes against the Vikings. It's something like 2-14, and it's against the spread, not just. I know what it is. Teams that were underdogs in their first 3 games, but finished 3-0. In the next game, if they were an underdog again, they're like 2-16 against the spread. That's what it was.
So they come back to earth.
They come back exactly.
Right.
And this is a place where they're going to come back to earth, I think. I like Green Bay big in this game. I just think Green Bay, beyond anything, and I think we can both agree that they might be the best coached team in the league.
You get Malik Willis to all of a sudden not look like Malik Willis in Tennessee.
I know.
And, they play it smart, and he plays within himself. Kudos to him, really. Seriously, kudos to him. And obviously Matt LaFleur. I mean, that's a great job. And now you hold down the fort, and because you're thinking, oh my gosh, this thing could fall apart.
I know.
And you go 0-3, like the Bengals. They're 0-3, and they have their quarterback there the whole time. So
their coaching staff's a little different, but
their defense is a little different.
John says that Packed to the Super Bowl pick by Larry. We both did it. We both picked the Packers in the Super Bowl. It was more than some tossing. We both did it. So there you go, John. All right, next game.
It's still happening.
I still think it's going to happen. I'm not changing I don't ever change a Super Bowl pick after 3 weeks.
My pick. It's documented. It's over.
Not after 3 weeks, exactly. All right. Well, if we hadn't picked the same thing, I could make fun of him for it, but I can't because we picked the same thing. So
we could both be morons.
Yeah, well, there you go. Dunce cap. All right. Sunday at 7:15, the national game on NBC is the Buffalo Bills at the Baltimore Ravens. This is the one that I'm really looking forward to. The Bills. Someone's going to have to explain to me why maybe the team that's playing the best in the NFL right now is getting 2.5 points, going to a team that just skated by last week and is 1-2. Explain it to me.
I can't because I don't agree. I'm taking Buffalo, and I got no problem doing it. And their offense is better without the bigger name players at wide receiver. It's hilarious. It's almost like they just said, oh, we could use James Cook. And then we've got this, Khalil Shakir, who we just get him the ball and he's effective. And they're almost really kind of, instead of saying, hey, Josh Allen, you got to throw downfield a lot. They're almost using the similar method of how the Chiefs have played. And it's short passes and let your guys do the yards after the catch afterwards. And Shakir has been really big time with that. But they started seeing that last year. So that there's a reason why they went their philosophy. Hey, we can let Diggs go. Hey, we can let Gabe Davis go. We can get a little younger and maybe bring in a veteran with Samuel and go 2 tight ends that can both be effective. But they really like Cook. Their offensive line is excellent too. So that's the thing.
It really is. They've been playing
defensively, well. Von Miller, it's renaissance. He's been injured and he's had some off the field things. And so he's been really kind of missed, but him and Greg Russo have been one of the best duos rushing the passer in the NFL. And I think that the Ravens, they're still trying to figure it out. They started obviously big time offensive output last week, but they're still trying to figure this thing out offensively. And I think Buffalo is really clicking. And so, I'm going Buffalo straight up here.
Me too. I'm going Buffalo straight up as well. And UBN telling me that 89% of the bets are on the Bills. Sometimes I'm with the public. It doesn't happen very often, but I am here. I don't understand this line at all. Makes no sense to me. I'm going to go with Buffalo. I also think they win straight up, but if not, I think they cover at the bare minimum. All right, Monday Night Football. There are two games on Monday Night Football. One of them's kind of a game. It's the Titans and the Dolphins. Who cares? But we'll just forget about that one. The real game is at 7:15. It's the Seahawks and the Lions. And the Seahawks have made trips to Detroit 2 years in a row and have won there, including one in overtime. So this one's really interesting, Larry. I'm going to take the Detroit Lions here and even give the 3.5, even though it's supposed to be close. I just think the Seahawks have kind of been a mirage.
I do worry about. I'm taking the Lions again. I just take them straight up. We don't go against. I don't make picks against the spread. But
yeah, I'm not going to make you do
that. But this worries me, and I help actually our Vic Tafer, who does Vic's picks every week for the Athletic, has been doing it for years and years now. And I aid him in the picks. I do a lot of the research, players, team trends, and Jared Goff is off to the worst start of his career, and you wouldn't think that. He is off, whether it's passer rating or EPA per drop back, worst numbers as a starter of his career. And it's something that you maybe worry about. I mean, he's got the
overrated.
Well, it depends on how high you actually rate it.
He's always had good receivers. He's overrated. He's not that great of a quarterback. I never understood the love for it. Here I am trying to back up my Detroit pick by calling out Jared Goff, but it's the reason why I don't have them going far in the playoffs and whatever. I just don't think he's that great.
Again, it depends on where you rate him.
I
have him as a top 12 guy. I mean, I think that's
okay. That's fair. That's
fair. Like,
right around there.
Yeah, he's a little better than Kirk Cousins. A little better.
Don't get me started, because then we'll have Big Sean will be coming back and talking about his ratings for Derek Carr, and here it comes. I knew somebody was going to say it. Jared Goff is slightly better than Kirk Cousins. No, he's not. Jared Goff's not better than Derek Carr or Kirk Cousins, in my opinion.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, well, you're not on the Derek Carr train either, or whatever. Don't get me started. We're not going off on that tangent. I'm trying to end this show this morning.
But anyway. Yeah, look, Seattle's defense has actually been really the reason why they're 3-0. I mean, their offensive line's not great.
No, it's not.
But no, their defense has been incredible. Look, Mike McDonald brought that with him from Baltimore. 3-0, surprising start. But I'm with you though. I think Detroit can go up there, and Aiden Hutchinson has been incredible. Like, he's the defensive player of the year right now. So good luck trying to stop him. And their offensive line is not great. So I'm taking Detroit here.
By the way, Seattle ranked 25th by PFF in offensive line rankings. Those are up-to-date rankings. By the way, the Saints have moved all the way up to 22nd. And now they were higher than that. They were 16th before Eric McCoy got hurt. Somebody's drinking some Tussin over at the PFFs. I'm just saying. I mean, say whatever you want. All right. Before we get to our Saints pick, I got to talk about my friends real quick. What happens after Evangeline complimentary valuation of your company? You say, okay, that sounds like a good price. We're ready to sell. Well, native New Orleans Nick Braden, Ron Hemelt, and the folks at Evangeline, we get an extensive auction process among established private equity funds from around the world. It will maximize the return process for his and her family. Evangeline Securities, top producer on their platform. Very few companies like them. Offices on Poydras Street and in Lafayette. None with their dedication and success. They're fully licensed, ready to serve you. So get in touch with Nick and Ron about what's really important, and that is the rest of your life. You can find them at www.evangelinesecurities.com. Okay, let me ask you, Larry, does the fact that the Saints have owned this series as of late, does that affect your thinking at all?
No, I go whatever's happening with the team currently. I don't care about the series. Kirk Cousins doesn't know anything about the series. Raheem Morris hasn't coached it. That plays zero part for me, specifically now. Like, for this pick,
right,
it plays no part in this for me now.
I hear you. Real quick, we got a comment from Chris Roth. You're wrong. Goff has taken teams places Carr never will. He didn't take the Rams to the Super Bowl, pal. A, the refs did, number one. And B, he scored 3 points in the Super Bowl. You think the Saints would have scored 3 points? He didn't get any credit for that shit. Sorry, he just doesn't. You made me say a bad word.
NFC Championship game. Come on.
Yeah.
Last year.
He got a little help. The NFC Championship
He was pretty
game,
good.
No, NFC Championship game, what happened when he needed to come through? He choked.
Well, the defense probably should have slowed down the 49ers. He gave them a big
I know, but
lead.
okay, that's fine. I hate that he gave them the lead. You know what happened? Just like Ryan in the Super Bowl. Guess what? That lead slipping away means you got to do something now. Get off your ass and do something.
Well, it doesn't mean
that Ryan didn't do it. Jared Goff didn't either.
Doesn't mean that Ryan wasn't any good that year. Jared Goff has been good the last probably almost 2 years, but
Jared Goff's
it's
overrated.
True. He's off to his worst start.
He's got the best offensive line in football, if not one of the top 2 or 3. He's got great running backs. He's got great receivers. He's got a really good tight end. Anybody would succeed.
He's helped Amon-Ra St. Brown become a great receiver. He's helped Sam Laporta become a top tight end. Like they
Sam Darnold could run that offense.
Oh,
I'm saying.
Bryce Young could run the offense, but who knows how well it would be run.
I wouldn't go that far.
Anybody could run it. Depends on how well it'll be run.
You're right. You got a point. All right. Time for our picks of the day. Walt Crawford already had it. If you want to make your pick, feel free to type it in. We'll show it on here. You can tell me how wrong I am. Walt Crawford says Saints 21, Falcons 17. Lazy people blame the defense. You got a good point, Terrence. Means he's taking up for me. All right, Chris.
Lazy people take the defense. What? The defense probably needs to make a stop or two.
Chris Ross says Raheem Morris, a horrible head coach, might help the Saints. If we get going in that direction, we're gonna start talking about DA, and
his resume is as impressive as DA's.
You want to talk about exactly. I think Carr and Cousins are the same quarterback. I think Raheem Morris and Dennis Allen are probably the same coach.
I'm not saying Raheem Morris is this over-the-top incredible coach. I'm not saying that. No chance.
All right. Uncle Big Nick says Falcons 28, Saints 3. That's a little bit much. That's a little much. A-Town says Saints 27, Falcons 24. All right. We may show a few more before we go off the air. Larry Holder, it is that time of the week. What is your prediction, Saints and Falcons?
20-19, Saints. A lot of Youngway coup field goals, but the Saints do enough to go win. I don't think we're gonna. I'm gonna certainly limit my expectations of the Saints scoring 40 points ever again this season. I'm not gonna, especially if there's no McCoy. The offensive line's not gonna be as good. You're gonna have to lean more on defense. I think the Saints defense can make a play or two on Kirk Cousins, could be prone to making a mistake every now and again. And 20-19, Saints.
You were that guy in school, that kid in school, right? That had all the candy and wanted people to like him. He's like, I got some candy. You want to come hang out with me? Yeah,
you're making me sound like a creepy guy who drives by with the white van, spray painted free candy.
Down by the river. I'm just saying. All right, we got some, I don't know. You surprised me. I didn't think you were going to pick the Saints this week. I just didn't. A-Town said Saints.
I did. That was a pick where I was back and forth. That was one of my harder picks to make.
All right. A-Town says 27-24 Saints. Brian says 23-17 Falcons. Gabe Henderson says 20-16 Falcons. John Pace says 24 to -3. 42 to -3.
That's a viable score.
Big Sean, who's predicted the Falcons all week, says we'd be lucky to score 20. I don't remember what score I picked in my column, so I'm going to completely go by the seat of my pants. I think the Falcons win, and I think the Falcons cover, and I think that the problems up front for the Saints are way more important for the Saints than they are for the Falcons. I think the Falcons, that's their only injuries, and I don't think the Saints can get around them, and I think Eric McCoy being gone is a major problem. And I hope I'm wrong. Chris, I hope Chris wrong too. He says Falcons 21-13. And I think that Pitts and Bijan Robinson are going to be a little bit too much for the Saints to handle. So I'm going to say Falcons 24, Saints 14. So.
I'm not booing and hissing your pick this week like I did last week.
Yeah. Terrence says Falcons 16, Saints 10.
Could be.
There
that.
you go. I was close. Gabe says I had 22-15 in my picks column. So, I mean, at least I was close. I usually go look it up so I don't disagree with myself, but that's close enough. All right, Larry Holder, final thoughts for today. Anything else you're looking at this weekend?
Oh, there was one matchup that I was intrigued by, and now I was actually intrigued by last night's game, which is odd.
Oh, God, it was terrible.
But I thought I just thought the matchup. I was curious to see if the Giants could actually.
It was so bad.
I mean, the game wasn't great, but I said, all right, maybe the Giants can go win this game. They didn't win it. The game. Look, I'm curious about Eagles Bucks.
Yeah, so am I.
I think because
I agree.
I mean, Tampa beat them last year in the playoffs badly. Are the Eagles that much better than they were last year? And Tampa's coming off of a bad loss, and all of it adds up because I think, man, I don't know if I thought they were this even, but it's a pick 'em among who's going to win the NFC South: Saints, Falcons, Bucks. I think they're all just depends on the day, and someone it could be 9-8 3-way tie, and someone wins a tiebreaker to win it. So I'm curious to see Eagles Bucks.
I hear you. I'm with you. I think that will tell us a lot about maybe not just the hierarchy in the NFC, but tell us a little bit in the NFC South that the Bucks really for real. So because that's a game that I was counting on the Saints winning. If they can beat the Eagles, maybe I don't feel as confident about the Saints winning that one when I think they're gonna really need to. We'll see. Anyway, we'll talk next week, Larry. Saints Chiefs, right? That's next week.
Saints Chiefs.
Oh, well, we may have to. We may. I don't know. I'll talk to you after the show. We may alter our programming schedule for that, but we'll see. All right. Okay. Talk to you either later next week or at some point in the near future. Saints Chiefs coming up. Have a good weekend.
All right, you too, buddy. Get well.
Thank you. Larry Holder, everybody. He's always. I love to have him on because he gives me a different take, and I can't predict. I can't predict what Larry's going to say. I just can't. I have no idea what he's going to say half the time. All right, that is going to be close to wrapping up the show here. Chris, thank you. Love the honesty. No one else in NOLA Media like me. Well, I've been called one of a kind before. Not always in a good way. But look, I talked about this yesterday. I don't sugarcoat stuff. If I'm telling you I think the Saints are going to win or the Saints are good at such and such or this is great, you know that it's really true because I'm saying I'm not going to tell you if I don't believe it. John really likes Larry's analysis. Absolutely. Gabe says Trevor Lawrence will hopefully still be winless. Oh, it's the Jags and the Texans. The Sharps love the Jags again for some unknown reason. I don't get it, man. At some point, you just got to cut bait. I don't think the Texans are world beaters. I think they're probably slightly better than an average team, but you got to cut bait at some point. You can't just keep betting on a team until they bang you in the head. I ain't touching the Jags until they prove they can win. UBN, more yellow flags last night than Big Bird has feathers. I heard that in the background. I wasn't even hardly watching it. I got to be honest. I was trying to get. I'm still going to try to do my game tonight. Normally I would say, you know what? Maybe I can't do it, but it's my only chance to see Harlem Berry play. So on VSN tonight, we have, if you don't know who Harlem Berry is, he is the #1 rated running back recruit in the country. And he's an LSU commit. He plays for St. Martin's, and we got him tonight on VSN as the only chance we had to get him. So I'm doing the game as of now. I don't know. So hopefully what I'm going to do is when I hit the button on this thing is I'm going to go to sleep for like 3-4 hours, and hopefully I'll be okay. We'll see. Buckman says, enjoy my show and my tell it like it is approach. If I say the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are better than the Saints, don't hate me. It's just because I think that way. You want me to lie? I don't necessarily think that right now, by the way. I don't know what I think in the NFC South. Chris says Bengals 35-10. Bears pull the upset. Bears ain't pulling no upset. Were you watching my best bets yesterday? Obviously not. All right, that is going to wrap it up for us today. I thank Gabe for coming on his vacation. I thank Larry Holder for doing his thing every Friday. We may do it on a different day next week because, again, Saints, we got an altered schedule. I may take next weekend off. Weekend off. Saints Chiefs the following Monday. So we may do our preview show in a month. I think the way we're going to do it is the Friday show. We would normally do on Friday. We'll probably do it on a week from Monday. And then we'll have Mono E Tuesday. That'll be weird. Mono E doesn't sound right. I don't sound right. None of this sounds right. It's weird. We'll do what we got to do. But I know this. We will have Mono E Monday this Monday, unless I'm dead or they can't pry me up and put me in this chair. If you don't see me in this chair, you know I'm really sick, but I'll be fine by then. One way or the other. Reminder to subscribe to our Dattitude YouTube page. Click the little bell so you can receive notifications when we go in the air live. Again, 11 a.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday, except Tuesday. Well, I'll say that and I'll just tell you we might have a Mono E Tuesday in a week. You can also find us wherever you get your podcasts, including Apple, Spotify, many more, and find a replay of the show on NOLA.com/sports. Thank you, John. Thank you, everyone. I hope I do feel better. I hope we get through it and we all have a wonderful weekend. And I hope I'm eating crow on Monday with some extra Louisiana hot sauce. You can be here to watch it. We'll see you then. Everyone, take it easy, my friends. Have a glorious weekend.
If you're looking for the latest scoop and in-depth interviews on the Saints, the NFL, the Pelicans, LSU, along with the best bets of the week, then lucky you. Along with high-powered, in-the-know guests who cover our teams, Jim Derry brings plenty of Dattitude. And he'll always tell you the way it is, or at least the way he thinks it is.